just wanted to acknowledge one thing. We are not going to be mentioning this in the prayers of the church, but during periods of silence, I really would encourage you to remember the Detroit Lions in your prayers. Was it just me where I go running home from the council meeting? I kept moving the president along because I wanted to get home and turn on the TV and be depressed. So I go running in, and maybe it's just me, but it looked like 50 guys showed up at Ford Field, and they said, "Do you want to try to play the game?" And they just handed out the equipment, because that's about as good as they were. So, anyway. Did I ever mention I'm a New York Giants fan?
Sorry.
Mentioned it a few times. Not that I'm obnoxious and like to rub it in or anything like that. It should be obvious, not that the Lions are bad. It should be obvious that Jesus this morning and the things that he has to say is not taking the time. In spite of all my encouragement, he hasn't read so much as a single line from any of Joel Osteen's books. Clearly, if you heard the gospel just a few moments ago, this is not your best life now. In fact, if you were to quote Jesus directly, we could put it right out on the marquee in bold black and white, assuming, of course, people slow down long enough to actually read it. It might actually scare people away. In seminary, I had a professor, a New Testament scholar in his own right, who was an absolute fanatic for geography. In fact, this is not an urban legend, this is a fact. He was the vicar of Jerusalem. I don't know exactly what it is, what his job was, but he was the vicar of Jerusalem. And so the word is that he wore out numerous pairs of shoes, literally walking the length and the breadth of all of Israel countless times. It was said that he had a better grasp of the lay of the land. He knew more of the nooks and the crannies. He knew more of the hidden out-of-the-way places than the Israeli military. I believed it, and I still do. And so to grasp the true impact of a given text, I can tell you this morning that you have to pay attention to not just the words and not just the grammar. You have to do more than just be aware of who is speaking and to whom they are speaking, but also where these events are transpiring and where these words are being spoken. Because place isn't just incidental, it impacts what the text means. The villages around the place called Caesarea Philippi. Who do people say that I am? Caesarea Philippi is about 25 miles north of the Sea of Galilee. It's a place, listen, blow your mind, a place named by a guy named Philip. Who would have thought that? Philip was a member of the less than, shall we say, loved Herod clan. And if I have to really explain to you why people didn't like Herod's family, we don't have time for that. Just come back at Christmas and we'll work our way through it. Or if you want, you can just Google it. But Philip wanted to honor the man who had actually given him all of this territory to rule. In a sense, a kind of puppet ruler, but a ruler nonetheless. And listen to this, the guy's name was Caesar. Who would have thought that? And that's not the family dog. That was the name of the emperor. Hence, Caesarea Philippi. And so not only was this place famous for the cult of emperor worship, there was also, I understand, a temple there, a beautiful place, dedicated to the god of Pan, the Greek god of wild nature. And then there was also a temple to Baal, a fertility deity. People would go to the temple and do certain things in the temple that I won't talk about, especially amongst such young, sensitive ears, but I'll give you a clue. It wasn't bingo. That's right. But this fertility deity would assure a bumper crop each and every year. So you see, in the midst of all these religious, and should I say it? I will. Political claims to great power. In Caesar's case, to ultimate power. That Caesar loved to be called the Son of God. Jesus asks a question. What do people say about me? It resonates with us. You know people say things about you too, right? People say things about me. Not always true, but they do nonetheless. So what do people say about me? And in a sense, it's not really that difficult a question to ask, primarily because it doesn't gauge you personally and directly. But then it gets harder. He says, but who do you say that I am? And he says, not just Andrew this morning, not just James and John and Thomas and Matthew, but you too, you sitting in the pew. Who do you say that I am? You can't hide behind the distance of a couple of thousand miles. You can't hide the buffer zone of 40 generations that separate us from this question when it was originally asked. All of us are asked, who do you say that I am? We've all been in the presence of other people when a difficult question is asked. The silence is deafening. It's awkward, to say the least. We look at the back of someone's head. We dance around and look at our shoes. We notice an interesting cloud formation. Someone is thinking to themselves, I wish I could be brave. This is my moment to stand tall, to make my parents proud of me. This is my time to answer Jesus' question, to step forward and say something bold like, I'm Spartacus. Some of you get it. Fortunately, though, for you and me, Peter's here this morning. And he has a really big mouth. And Peter has no filter on that mouth. And so we all are saved for the moment, but only for the moment. And as most of you know, Peter gets it right. He gets an A. Jesus says, you remember that because it's going to be on the test. So he gets it. But then he gets it wrong. Peter uses all the right words, but he gets it wrong. How many of you have ever had a Jehovah's Witness come knock on your door? How many of you? How many of you have ever had an encounter with a Mormon? All right. Good people. Good people. But the fact of the matter is they use all the words that we do. All the words. They use Christ, they use grace, they use faith. But what a Mormon or a Jehovah's Witness means by grace, and what I mean and you mean by grace, is not the same thing. What I mean to say Jesus is the Savior of the world, and what a Jehovah's Witness means when he says, or she says, Jesus is the Savior of the world, is not the same thing. Not by a long shot. And so, things were so promising. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes the words, get behind me, Satan. If we were on an airliner, and I've been on an airliner where this happened, I don't know if you have, all those oxygen masks suddenly come tumbling out of the ceiling. It's kind of unnerving when all that happens. And all of a sudden, we're back out in the wilderness. Do you remember when the devil was with Jesus, giving him all that free tutoring on how to be a Messiah? Say this, do this, don't do that. And here Peter is in essence telling Jesus what to do. Utilizing his misunderstanding, his misdirected passion, old scratches back at it again. But Jesus didn't fall for it back in the beginning of Mark. He's not falling for it now. You know, a couple of days ago, right? 2 girls went to school. You know where I'm going? You get it? Unfortunately. 2 girls went to school. 1 didn't go home. One's life is ruined forever. Forever. In a beautiful world, there is also pain and there is injustice. And there is suffering that is as deep as Lake Superior. And if such realities in our world are not to be the last thing or to have the last word, the Messiah must take a cross and ride it into the heart of the dark. Because that's the way it has to be. Only a God who suffers. Only a God who is as vulnerable as each and every one of you are vulnerable as I speak. You may not think so, but you are. Only a God who loves, really loves, can help us. And what Jesus says, if you follow me in this world, you will at times know that vulnerability. And you will know that pain. Will Willimon never tires of saying, if you are going to follow Jesus, you better look good on wood. Not exactly your best life now is it this morning? Who do you say that I am? It's a question that is to be answered with head and heart, with your whole life. Because this morning someone stands in our midst who is greater than Pan, greater than Baal, greater than Caesar, greater than the United States, greater than all the kingdoms, greater than all the empires of the world. And what he says to you this morning is, you don't have to walk through life and play it safe. And for heaven's sake, for God's sake, and your own, you don't ever have to be afraid of death. You don't have to be afraid of death. You don't have to play it safe. If you give yourself away, there will not be less of you. There will be more of you. And the government spends millions of dollars on psychological studies, and they come to the same conclusion. And all they had to do was save the money and read Mark 8. Give yourself, and you will find a life that matters. Follow Jesus, and you will find him. And you will not only find him, you will find everything of value, everything worth having, everything of true and lasting